The Apostle Paul writes the letter to Galatia to deal with an apostasy that had impacted the church in a negative fashion. He was amazed that they had departed from following after the gospel that was proclaimed unto them so soon after his departure. Galatians 3:1-3 says, O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you. This only would I learn of you, received ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Are ye so foolish? Having begun in the Spirit, are ye now made perfect by the flesh? What does it mean for a person to be bewitched in the context of being led astray, spiritually speaking? The Greek term for bewitched is baskaino, and it is defined as to malign, that is, by extension, to fascinate by false representations. In other words, they were maligned by the false representations offered by those able to fascinate their auditors. Along these same lines, the Old Testament prophet, seer, and judge Samuel said similar words to Saul. Upon returning from his military conquest of the Amalekites, Samuel challenged Saul's adherence to the commandment of God. Saul was told to utterly destroy the Amalekites down to the last person and animal. Instead, he came back with the king and select animals from the flocks of the Amalekites. Notice Samuel's response to Saul's disobedience. I Samuel 15:22-23 says, And Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Rebellion against God is likened unto the sin of witchcraft. One might paraphrase Samuel by saying, Who bewitched you into rebelling against God? The truthful preaching of God's word is decidedly unlike the methods used by false teachers. Paul offered the context of his preaching over a method of delivery that used human wisdom and rhetoric. 1 Corinthians 2:4-5 says, And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in the power of God. The Apostle Paul understood the power of words and their ability to mislead people. Colossians 2:4 says, And this I say, lest any man should beguile you with enticing words. The word beguile comes from the Greek term paralogizomai, and it means to misreckon, that is, delude, beguile, deceive. As stated previously, magic is deception at its core, and this is precisely what these false teachers at Colossus wanted to do by using enticing words. Let all of man's wisdom perish in view of God's word. 1 Corinthians 1:18-21 says, For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved it is the power of God. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? For after that in the wisdom of God the world by wisdom knew not God, it pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe.